Hello, January 27th, 4:42 in the morning. um, Wednesday. Um, ooh, didn't do my. I just got really high. I was just sitting here getting high after I was working and then I got high. So yeah, I'm just still working on um, my website. Wow, it must be really high. Listen to my train of thought. I'm tracing stuff. I see the letters on the side. I see the numbers on the side. I hope this doesn't mean that my face is sideways. My phone likes to make my face sideways sometimes, and I still haven't figured out how. Is it because I'm doing my phone that way or that way? Anyways, my face is sideways. Like once a month, my face is sideways. I'm like, how'd that happen? Anyways, so yeah, I'm tracing. I guess I haven't made all that much leeway today. I've been kind of tired. I was talking with Kirsten for a long time today and not working when I was doing that, and yeah, and I need to clean my house. My mom's been wanting to come over. She wanted to come today, but I was kind of postponing. I slept in. Anyways, yeah, I feel like I need to kind of refocus tomorrow on work. What I'm doing is super interesting, but it's time consuming. I'm tracing all of the trails, but in Boulder County and the part area around it, like 1 day ride away from Boulder, on any and every trail, and it's a kind of originally wanted to do Boulder County, but I expanded it into all the way down to Golden because Golden's beautiful, and I decided actually last night to go all the way up to Fort Collins because it's pretty much I should just do Front Range because Boulder's right in the middle of the Front Range, like Fort Collins is the same distance from Boulder as South Denver. So it's awesome. It's like that all roads lead to Rome idea. Like if you're talking about the Front Range, geographically, all roads lead to Boulder. And then if you go east, it's perfect wet. And we're in the middle for the eastern mountains too. You go a certain 50 miles, 100 miles east, whatever, 50 miles east, 20, and then the west, and totally different. So like if you do a circle of that perimeter, of like the 1 day, if you're doing a really big ride, 1 day perimeter. Because I guess you can include in motorbike rides, but and I guess that would be the size of. I haven't done the check yet because I'm still working on it, but I guess that'd be the size. Well, it's around the size of like Republic of Rome, but and it's also in terms of like language, it's about the size of a language family as well in ancient Italy, like the Umbrian. I'll go and double check it because I'm just curious. I'm kind of pulling it out of my ass, but I'll guess that the Umbrian language covers about the same area as the Front Range. If you're gonna do like, what was it? Like 40 miles diameter, 40 miles radius, 80 miles diameter. Something like that would be a circle. Would be size of the Front Range, and that's about the size of the Umbrian language, like a larger language group in Italy. So let's go check that and see how close I am. If I'm close, I'm magical. I'm a goddamn good historian. Okay, so anyways, but kind of the reason that I decided to do Fort Collins was because I was tracing, like yesterday and today I was tracing, I decided, because it was yesterday when I decided I was going to go ahead and just trace, because it's within my radius now, and also, like, because it's unique and beautiful, all of the trails, bike trails, paved bike trails in Denver, because if you know where they are and you know where you're going, it could be a really cool bike ride to do for a bike rider who bike rides all the time on a bike racer. I don't know how many of them do that, but it seems like more should. Because I was looking at it, number one, on Google Earth, and I didn't see it like it was totally crowded with bikes. So there's plenty of opportunity to have your little areas where you can just go as hard as you can. It's kind of like a real bike. It actually simulates a real bike race perfectly. Because in the way real bike races are, there's a bit, 5 minutes or whatever, a few minutes, or less, a minute, where you're going as hard as you possibly can. Somebody does a breakaway, and then you have to maintain in that group, and then they slow down, and then so you get to member group, and everybody gets a breather, and then you sprint again. And so that's why people are do training like that with their intervals. Well, that's perfect for if you're doing a bike travel, riding bike trails around Denver, because you can go as hard as you can, and then you get to like a tunnel, a blind tunnel, and then that's where you can calm down, slow down a little bit, and then you get out of the tunnel, get back to straightaway, go as hard as you can, and then you get to a light or whatever, or cross the road, and then you slow down. And but the whole time when you're going as hard as you can, you're on a freaking, you've got your own road to all of to yourself, a bike path, and there's nobody around. It's all you, and you're and you can do because the bike path is so huge. You can do a huge bike ride that simulates an actual pro bike race, like 160 miles that way. So I'm gonna, yeah, after I trace all these, I'm gonna see how far of a good bike ride, where you're on the bike path and you're not doing the bike in the same bike path twice, and it's 160 miles, and see how many of those I can do. Because that one, each of those definitely has to be in like the absolute tip top of best rides to do, and I don't think people know them because you don't know exactly where to go to make the loop, because people haven't like figured it out. So I can figure it out on this, but I'm gonna chase it first. So and I noticed the trail that goes up to the east. They're following the river. Just goes up diagonally like that, kind of just like the Boulder River Creek, and I think it's called the Poudre River. And they paved it all the way to like the end of the metropolitan area, the area, and but I could see how they had dirt where they were going to make more. And I'm like, and oh yeah, as far as they paved it was almost as north as Baseline Road. And I thought how they're going to make it all the way up. No, they can make it all the way up to like north of Boulder, paved bike path that then connects to bike path that goes all the way to Fort Collins. You could ride a bike path from Denver to Fort Collins that goes out along the river and then turns in and goes to Fort Collins. It'll probably be done within 10 years. So there's great bike riding in the mountains out here, but the flats are going to be amazing once they get those bike paths together, because you can do these huge 200-mile bike rides, 300-mile bike rides, or whatever, 150-mile bike rides all over the place, and like lots of different ones where you're not doing the same road twice. And you're on the entire goddamn thing where you don't have to worry about roads. It's like, lights, because you're going through tunnels, and they have their path through their own little windy area and along ditches and rivers and like those rivers, and also go along rivers. You're actually experiencing the earth. You're riding along the river of the earth, and so it's like it's going to be really cool to do that. I can't wait when I get ready and when I finally start riding. I'm gonna do it. I was like, yeah, do it on your time trial bike. You can just get in the aero bars and hammer on the flats, and you could like do Strava, make a Strava segment of one of those big bike rides. It's like you're back in the Netherlands. It's like just as good as the Netherlands, And then of course they're gonna, once they irrigate it more, they can, how it is. Like it's kind of urban areas around bike paths. That's where they put all the flowers. So now you're gonna be riding around for a 200-mile bike ride, where it's flowers everywhere and the river and people in parks. It's like, oh my god. And of course people, and it's like getting good. Like do those big rides before too many people start getting on the bike paths. Like with the electric bikes, I guess. But also, that's a good reason to do it on a big old time trial bike and do it if you're a bike racer, because the electric bikes are so fast. You'd be like keeping up with them if you're on the road bike. So, yeah, I got really excited about that, and I was tracing, and I'm not even done. I like really want to trace. I looked at the map of the Denver bike paths, and I saw that it didn't look particularly big, but yeah, I want to do that, and then maybe superimpose the map on top of Google Earth just to make sure I got everything, or look at it. But anyway, so I was like, man, Denver's got really good bike paths. Because one really cool thing is that Boulder's got really good bike paths, and Boulder is connected to Denver with a bike path. Wait, I think it didn't exist when I grew up here, but now it does, and I'm like, whoa, I got to do that right, because I never did. But I was thinking to myself, oh my god, the bike path in this system in Denver is really good. I wonder where it ranks nationally. Is this the best one in America? So I Googled it, and they had some list that was the top 50. I think it was like Outside Magazine or something, and Denver ranked 11th, and Denver was 13th, and Boulder was 12th out of 50. So that's cool, because Boulder's not like a big city, so to rank 12th is pretty good. But I was surprised to see that Fort Collins was third, and so I was like, third in the nation? After, I think Seattle was number one, which I find puzzling, because I biked around Seattle all day once, and I don't remember bike paths all over the place. And I did the same thing with Portland, and I don't remember bike paths. If they put Seattle and Portland above Denver, they're out of their mind. I mean, there's one bike path that goes around the periphery of Portland, but it's not extensive like Denver. Um, but yeah, same thing with Seattle. But yes, I was curious. I was like, well, if Fort Collins is third most biggest in America, then I definitely need to put it in my map. So I looked at it a little bit. I did a map of it, and then I saw that they're constructing a bike path, and I don't know if it'll be done, but I think their article was like in 2019 or something in summer, and from Loveland to Fort Collins. And so they're probably going to have one from Boulder to Loveland, and well, at least it's a really good bike road with a huge shoulder from Boulder to Loveland. So you can do big bike rides all around like Fort Collins on the big bike ride and then down, or maybe one that includes Denver and Loveland, where you're on a bike path the whole goddamn time. They don't have that now. About in 10 years, but they'll have it, and then maybe it'll be even legal to electric bikes. Do it on an electric bike? I don't know. It's just trippy. Um, so um, and then I started doing the tracing of, because I kind of got burnt out on that. Like sometimes I'll do trace one side and then just save it and then do the other side later. I like to save it a lot sometimes just in case the Google Earth crashes. It hasn't for a while, and sometimes if I make them too big, of course it crashes. So I like to save it along the way in case it does that. But I haven't made them too big for a while. I've kind of been in the habit of not doing that. But I wanted to trace the ones in the mountain biking because if I'm going to go down all the way to like southern Denver, because if that's the bike path is, or not southern Denver, but like, I guess that's where the bike paths are. If there's really good ones in the mountains, but down to Denver, to Golden and stuff, and all the way up to Fort Collins with the bike paths, then I should include the mountain biking because I bet you there's some really good mountain biking up there, which I've never done. I'd love to be cool to see it. So, and I think I looked at a little bit in the hills outside of Fort Collins and it looked like a really good trail. And I know there's some really good stuff in Golden. So yeah, I'm gonna include all that. Because then, once you're done, you can trace it. I have a fast enough computer where you could have, at least what I've made so far, have it all open and you zoom in and out and it comes into view fast enough. And I heard they're making like a new generation of Apple computer that's faster. And I'm sure by the time I'm done, the computers will be fast enough in 5-10 years or whatever, that'll be able to handle, making every single trail and road covered over with the polygon tool. And as well as maybe building all the other stuff you want to put on there too, like the movies saved on there and lines and stuff. So, because after I make these polygon, I'm going to do the lines, and then you can turn that into a movie instantaneously, and yeah, of course, maybe do some YouTube later on it. But yeah. So, anyways, I've got the work cut out for me. And but I don't really care. I'll just go until I burn out, like I always do. Ha ha ha. Maybe I'll like start something else instead of go to something else to try to finish it or get farther ahead. Maybe what I should do is start something completely fresh from scratch. I was thinking of some interesting things that you could do, like build things on Google Earth, like cities and stuff that represent numbers and stuff to help conceptualize things. And I had some ideas before, but I can't think of them now. But I think on Atlantis, one of my cities I want to make, because I have to make 12 cities in Atlantis, like make the grid system for the roads, all of the ski resorts in Colorado connected. Wouldn't that be cool? And so the runs are roads, and the trees between the runs is the blocks where the houses are. Because I think it'll match up. The runs are maybe as wide as big wide roads, and the trees are as wide enough for houses. So, and then that'll be a great way to help conceptualize things. You see, I think that's a new type of art that's coming down the pipeline. It's conceptualizing stuff where you superimpose different things, just throw it all together, and then because then you look at things in a different way. It's like being on drugs, and then it helps you memorize it. Helps you kickstart your brain basically, and so. After this, so I didn't do a video yesterday because I was just too like on this, and then I was kind of burnt out, and then I kind of got sidetracked checking out like tall girl photos, That's kind of like one of my my fetish, tall chicks. And so I was like, discovered some page, and I was like, oh, look at that, they have the Instagram. So I was like following every Instagram tall girl, and then oh yeah, and then boxers, different boxers and stuff were doing, and MMA for my page, but that's later. I'm kind of layering stuff. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going back to, or right now, I'm a total nocturnalist. I work until the morning. I got a pizza tonight. It was snowing. It snowed today, like for the first time in this year, which I'm really kind of bummed about because I'm like, global warming, what the hell's happening? I think last year there was lots of snow, which is cool. But my mom reminded me that today they had the $10 pizza, so I went over there at Papa Murphy's, got the $10 pizza, along with my energy drink. And anyways, I'm babbling. So I am going to get back. Oh yeah, yeah. What am I listening to? Well, see, I've been smoking a lot of weed, so I'm like having a really hard time of paying attention to stuff, and I'm actually enjoying just having silence. You know, sometimes your brain just doesn't want to do anything and just have silence. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Just sit around having silence. But I'm listening to this book by Sean Carroll, Something Deeply Hidden, about basically the history and his idea of quantum mechanics and stuff. And it's just like, I want to, and I've got it into my head that I really want to do a video about quantum mechanics. I want to explain quantum mechanics. And because it's like, oh man, I feel like it's another one of those things like you can explain something, or at least help explain something and help people understand something, help yourself understand something in a new way, get to one next level up of trying to understand it by comparing lots of other things. And so there is a lot of cool like comparisons you can make to help imagine quantum mechanics with waves and water, and averaging out, averages and stuff. And so I'll talk about that later because I've been talking about too long on this one. But yeah, and I'm also listening to this book. I want to listen to just these two books, actually maybe three books, until I get my next Audible credit, and I think that'll be Seth Speaks, or maybe another one about maybe Lynn McTaggart, The Field. I heard that was a good book about quantum mechanics. Just the ones about that, but I want to listen to books about what's it called? Nature, Personal Reality by Jane Roberts. Seth. You can actually, if you YouTube Jane Roberts, you'll see her talking as Seth, Gentlewoman, because he's kind of talking about stuff having to do with the same. It's really crazy. I don't know. It's really interesting because, I mean, it's like, did she think of it independently? Because she did the book in 1974, and the Many Worlds Theory by Hugh Everett came out in 56, but then it became popularity around 74. So did she read it? But I mean, I believe her, but she's talking about at the same time that the scientists are talking about it. And, but they have the same philosophy about like Many Worlds. Many Worlds Theory is parallel universes. And so like where you believe that anything that could happen does happen in another parallel universe. It's just as real as here, you just can't see it. And that's what that guy Sean Hero believes. Like there's a lot of legitimate scientists who believe that. And there's others who don't, who just believe that it's just us. It's the Schrodinger's cat. Oh shit, I don't want to get sidetracked. Anyway, oh yeah, so the cool thing is that the channeler, the spirit, disembodied spirit who talks through the channeler, the woman, Jane Roberts, says the same damn thing. He says that every single thing that can happen does happen, and time doesn't exist when you go in the spirit world, and like reincarnation isn't fucking linear. Like reincarnation is basically like some dude on acid tripping out and just creating whatever they want randomly. So like you can die, and if you're into like knights in shining armor, your whole life for whatever fucking reason, you grew up on a farm, then you'll reincarnate as a knight in shining armor in the 15th century on some other planet or something, like it's like that random. And because there's no such thing as time, and like everything's the same thing, and I'm like high and my brain's not really working, but I mean the same thing that she says, the same exact stuff that the mini World Series says. And so and so and then lots of other things. I can't remember anything right now, but a lot of examples of like for example, says that and the scientists are saying the same goddamn thing. It says that thoughts and beliefs are just have the same exact influence on weather as 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 clouds do, as yeah. So anyways, and then I think that's what the field is about. And then the people talk, yeah, like certain, like there was a certain graph that spiked, like a mind reading graph or some kind of like maybe it was like a super sensitive earthquake detector or something graph spiked on 9/11, but that had nothing to do with planes or explosions. It was only something that could have been influenced by people's minds. So all the people's freaking out spiked it. So anyways, so yeah, so minds can create the weather, and then your body is like mind creates reality, and so it's all the same stuff. So the one cool thing to do if you want to like study that, like try to, if you want to exercise your creative mind and try to participate in getting to the next level of figuring out what the hell quantum mechanics is, what you do is you read a book by Sean Carroll, Something Deeply Hidden, and then maybe this other guy who I can't remember, but it was the history of quantum mechanics, and I read his book like once, and then a couple, and then like a few hours here and there another day, and I want to read that again. But you just stagger it between reading a book about quantum mechanics and then a book read or at least the Nature of Personality written by Jane Roberts, The Spirit, and then you just stagger them one by the other, and then so that you try to get into their world and where they're thinking, and then at least you can make these analogies in your head, and of course I have been making them, like for example, here's one, averages, like they talk about how there's quantum chemistry, that's influenced by just these averages. I can't even explain that right now. But then you have quantum computers, which is you use like that. Oh man. And then there's, oh man, see, if I try to explain this stuff too much, my brain is gonna explode, and then I'm gonna completely forget what the hell I was talking about, like across the board. I'm gonna be like a catatonic, like, wait, what? But what I'm trying to say is, because I'm like too high, I want to do that's another video one that I want to do. And then another video like quantum, and then AI relationship, but I can't do any of that stuff until I sober up. But I can. The thing is, even if I'm really high and I'm concentrating on this, I can listen to that stuff over and over again and learn a little bit more, so that when I do like sober up and listen to it, then I can learn it. But what I was trying to say was that yeah, it has to do with like like I don't know if people sit around and wonder like why are there 50% men and 50% women? Like how the hell does your biology know that? And it's just the quantum law of averages. It's related to it, and then also like I was looking at my body, and I had an injury because a stupid person didn't belay me right in climbing, and anyway, so I have like a slight limp in my foot because I haven't exercised at all, so my body's like melting, so all these old injuries come back. So I'm like walking around with a slight limp all the time. It totally sucks, but I'm thinking to myself, but I'm just like looking at my body and feeling my body, and I'm like, yeah, the human body is designed to like ward off like injuries. in all these different ways and designed perfectly for everything, for the environment perfectly, even though you've never experienced it. Like, even though I've never experienced an injury, like I've never had a broken bone. I sprained my ankle really hard once, but I never broken a bone. I've never been knocked out. And but like, my body has all of these defense mechanisms for being knocked out, and to like refix after breaking a bone, and like do all these things, even though it's never experienced with me physically. And that's because it's happened to all of my ancestors before, because law of averages says it's going to happen to everybody. I mean, to somebody a bunch of times, because there's so many people living in history. And then we adapt through, natural selection, and then you end up so where you are. And that's kind of like an averages thing, and it kind of reminded me of quantum mechanics. So anyways, there's a way to connect quantum mechanics with averages of, and like evolution, and then AI and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of like what I would like to do. And so that's why one cool thing to do is just, instead of, because I've been doing a lot of history, so it's like, fuck it, maybe I should just have history. And I can listen to the book about quantum mechanics, and then I can listen to the book about that spirit channeler talking about the same exact shit. How time doesn't, how like matter, energy creates matter, and then the scientists say it, and so you just listen to them, stagger them, just as long as I can, for like months, all day, every day, for like a year, and then sober up and do it, because if I do it for a year while I'm stoned and I'm working on my website, and then I go, and then I finally sober up, and I start riding my bike and listening to it on my bike, and then having the time to like watch the graphs from the people do the videos and look at all the charts, which I think helps a lot, little animations they do. Like, I'll be super fired up to be like, all right, let's fucking learn as much of this shit as I can so I can do a video about it. And then boom, and I'll have a good base built up, And so I just go and I'll say it, and do a really good video, because all the little thoughts that I had, like the analogies, it'll just come back to me, and I'll be like, yeah, this, and maybe I'll have it, and because I'll do a video, I'll be excited, and maybe I'll just be able to break through and understand it, at least into a new level, So that's like something that I really want to do, but I haven't really been listening to too much of it. Today I'm going to be a couple of days, last days, so I'm going to do it today. After I do this video, listen to him again. Yeah, I think I ran through it a couple times, start to finish, over the last couple of days. Yeah, and I haven't been doing Seth, actually. Maybe I should go and do Seth now. Anyways, I've been babbling. So, I'm going to run out of reefer tomorrow, but I have Kasharushki. My roommate helps me smoke all my reefer, because, which makes me have to buy more, but he gives me money. So as I run out of reefer, I'm getting money. So I use the money to buy the more reefer. Haven't been to the gym for a long time, but I like having the membership. Yeah, and I think I'm just going ahead and keep that bitch ass membership. And knowing that I can go over there whenever I want. Plus I have my own gym here. And then I have a gym at the complex, but I think it's closed at my apartment. Anyways, enough talking, keep it under a half hour. Tomorrow, oh my God, tracing these roads in Boulder County and this whole area, Front Range, is going to take forever. Oh yeah, this is what I want to say. The Front Range, if you include that whole 40-mile radius area, holy shit, dude. That's like and with Boulder in the freaking middle. And the other cool thing is, I'm comparing Boulder to Rome. All roads lead to Rome, all roads lead to Boulder. Like Boulder, Republic's size is this whole area. But Boulder's in the middle. And if you put Boulder in the middle and you do that radius, it's like the best biking in the whole world, and because it's the most varied. Because there was no other metropolitan area in Boulder on this list of 50 cities in America that I saw that had 3 cities in that list of 50. It was just one city here, one city there. But that list had Fort Collins and number 3, Boulder and 12, and Denver and 13. 3 of them. So if you put them together, and they're all going to be connected as one in about 10 years or 5 years less, couple of years, it'll be one. So then it'll be the best in America and probably the best in the whole world, rivaling fucking the Netherlands. So if you're talking about what we've got going on now, you know, southeast, it's Denver with this huge network of bike paths that connect with Boulder. So if you want flat bike path riding, it's down there. And then directly to the west, it's Winter Park, which is ranked #1 on best downhill bike courses in America, and probably best in the world if you're talking about compacted downhill courses. You know, somebody said Îles d'Ise, France is the best, but it's really huge. I mean, you could say, well, if you're talking about something like that, I mean, the Front Range is like that too. Anyways, and so that's in between that is the whole fucking Front Range, which is totally awesome in itself, and then a bunch of wildernesses, and then including Rocky Mountain National Park, which has a whole bunch of animals. It's like the best animal wilderness system in the world. So, like I saw a documentary just last night about called Wild Romania, because they're like the best wilderness in Europe, and they're listing the mountains. And I'm like, oh, they don't got nothing on Colorado, although they did have a lot of fucking bears. I think they have more bears than we do, but I don't know if you have more types of felines, but I only saw one that they had. But so and then like mountain biking all across the Front Range, and great trails too, by the way, and then the road biking with great shoulders, and then the mountains, great mountain biking all in the mountains. So you have flat, and then you have mountains, and then on the road biking in the mountains, but then also mountain biking in the mountains, and then running. You have a lot of trails that's just for running. Oh, and then hardcore running, bushwhack running right here in Boulder. So yeah, I'm like, well, let's just build it, but it's gonna take a while. So. But I mean, I'm still motivated to do it, so let's just keep going. Let's keep the head into the grindstone until I burn out. And when I burn out, who knows what I'll do. But this is super interesting to look at, because I'm learning. Because I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is my backyard. I've been doing this a long time. When I was in high school, I was looking at maps, being like, oh, you gotta memorize this. Like, what the fuck? I should have just a long time ago. But maybe it's good that I waited this long, because it was only recently until I got gigabit internet. And you need gigabit internet to be able to zoom in and out really fast. So. For it to work, so had to wait this long anyway. So maybe timing is perfect for me. So anyways, keep it around half an hour. I don't want my computer to fill up and have to break out, because I already have 3 videos already on here. So all right, we're doing the same thing here tomorrow. I'm not just doing the same thing, which is great. Living that timeless void. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.